Hey, Jack, I thought you were in jail.
I was, until your father bailed me out.
Mom said I was going to get your wine collection.
What? You're not old enough to appreciate my wine collection.
Well, I will be someday.
The problem is it will have peaked by then.
Not if you go back to jail, it won't.
Do you remember when you peed in your pants in the Hamptons? I do. Everybody does.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, man, you woke me up there. Ooh. Yeah, I'm sorry I passed out there. I was just got finished watching Hawkeye. And let me tell you something. This show is so fucking boring. Although I'm not sure what I was expecting from a show that's so lame its own main character gets sidelined because of how boring he is. Now, if any of you viewers suffer from insomnia, Hawkeye might be the perfect show for you, because I wanted to pass that out my keyboard watching this. But if this show was just boring, we wouldn't be here right now, would we? Because Hawkeye represents a systemic issue in the MCU, that being arrogance, overconfidence, and not knowing at all what people want. Seriously, who the hell asked for a Hawkeye Disney Plus show? He was so lame he couldn't even get his own movie. Seriously, Black Widow fucking dies, and she gets an entire movie after she dies, but Hawkeye doesn't even get his own movie? And he spends most of his show being sidelined and not even acting as the main character? But let me not pretend like I want Hawkeye to be the main character. This guy should be on a farm with his family. He should have got him benched several movies ago, but he's still here, still with his bow and arrow, still being lame. And now I have to talk about it. So I guess this is the part where I say hello, everybody. You're watching Dead Topics, the show where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want, for as long as we want. I'm your host, Dave, and welcome to Hawkeye. Welcome to hell. What's the difference? Alright, before we start, it's time for the pill.
Barnacles,
Hawkeye's lame. He's lame. I don't care how many action poses you have him do or how many explosive arrows you have him fire. Hawkeye is not cool. In fact, he's kind of goofy, which the movies even admit.
We're fighting an army of robots, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Because when you think about it, some random dude with a bow and arrow going to fight literal gods is kind of stupid. He's not as cool as Batman, he doesn't have a super suit of armor to protect him like Tony, and don't even mention Green Arrow, you asshole. I'm sure he has trick arrows, but you want to know what's better than trick arrows? One of these? This is like 100 trick arrows in one, and you don't even die when he gets shot. He's just kind of lame, and I don't really see why he needs his own movie or show at all. But again, this is the MCU, they want money, so here we are. But there was a time when Hawkeye tried to be cool, when he became the Ronin. He became a masked vigilante, killing criminals and using swords and doing cool shit. The only problem is, we don't get to see it. Yeah, all that Ronin stuff, yeah, that kind of happens off screen. We get one flashback to it. One. And we also see him for like a couple seconds in Endgame being Ronin, but that's about it. So you have this really awesome, cool shit that Hawkeye is doing, and instead of making a show about that, the thing people want to see, they decide to make it after he's quit. Sure, Black Widow can get a flashback movie, but not Hawkeye, when he was doing something interesting. But they have a different story to tell that doesn't involve the, interesting stuff. They want to tell the story of Kate Bishop, who is what this show is actually about. Listen, if I'm telling you I don't care about Hawkeye, I definitely do not care about Diet Coke Hawkeye. I cannot amass any care in my heart for this non-character with a bow and arrow. They were trying to make Kate Bishop work really hard back then, and I don't understand why. She was the headline in this show. Honestly, it should just be called the Kate Bishop Show. And on top of that, they also gave her like an entire DLC in that canceled Marvel Avengers game, I think. Weird dedication to a character who has like 5 fans maximum, who is also a bootleg of another character who has 6 fans maximum. So Kate Bishop's backstory is... Sorry, passed out again. Even thinking about it makes me want to fall asleep. Anyway, she was at Ground Zero during the invasion of New York, and she saw the Hulk smashing through buildings, Thor conjuring lightning, Tony Stark flying around and shooting lasers, and thought, you know who's the coolest guy here? The dude with the bow and arrow. Not even Black Widow is above him on the list? At least she didn't spend half that movie mind-controlled. So her father dies during the invasion, and her first response is to turn to her mother and go, I need a bow and arrow. That was so unintentionally fucking hilarious. Then we get the opening montage of the show, which is entirely Kate Bishop. Yes, the entire opening intro to this show in the first episode, fully animated, is nothing but Kate Bishop. Hawkeye doesn't even get the intro in his own show. It's literally just a montage of Kate Bishop being a good athlete. Kate Bishop's athlete career gets a higher priority than the superhero here. So let's talk about our main character, Kate Bishop, not Hawkeye, in the show, with his fucking name in the title. So little Hawkeye Girl Jr. is born into a rich family and also loves breaking and entering, destroying property, and being a general nuisance. Our introduction to her as an adult is her firing off an arrow at a bell tower and completely destroying it. Well, she's got the property damage part of being a superhero down. So after causing probably thousands of dollars worth of damages, she gets off scot-free with her credit cards being suspended. And her mom gives her a speech about how she's not invincible. Although based on the plot armor she's about to receive during this show, she pretty much is invincible. Anyway, this show will spend a very long amount of time trying to convince you that Kate Bishop is a super ninja. I'm all for show don't tell and consistency and reinforcing things in the story and whatnot, but this is going way too far. Pretty much every single episode, somebody has to talk about how many awards she's won, or how many trophies she has, or how skilled she is, or she did this, she did that. She got a black belt at the age of 15. Oh, she's won another medal again. Oh, she won this fencing competition years ago. Basically beating you over the head with a stick, telling you how cool and awesome and super special this character is. It's like the writers were very insecure and could not handle anyone not thinking Kate Bishop is the most super awesome, amazing person in the entire world. And, gonna be honest, don't care, she's still really lame. Her personality can be summarized as Marvel Quip Machine Archetype A. Everything out of her mouth are annoying jokes, banter, and quips that would make even the most poorly written versions of Spider-Man groan.
I buy Imagine Dragons tickets for my girlfriend as like early Christmas gift, right?
That's so sweet.
Kurde, sweet. Then we had a fight. You know what she said? She said that the tickets were gift. So she wants to bring her sister.
I mean, look on the bright side. You don't have to go see Imagine Dragons.
I love Imagine Dragons. She doesn't even like them. You know, she did this on purpose to hurt me.
Look, I think you both owe apologies. Tell her she hurt your feelings, but apologize for pretending that was a gift for her.
Okay, wait, super. I need a pen. Just, okay? See you.
See? A little trust, a little communicating, a little listening.
I'm sorry, shit. What was I talking about? Oh, right, Kate Bishop. But yeah, she's annoying, unfunny, and the writers are trying way, way, way too hard to make you think she's a super skilled god-tier ninja. She was a master fencer, archer, martial artist, all at the age of 15. The way this show frames it, she could practically fight Thanos when she was 5. And her biggest character flaw is that the plot doesn't let her win sometimes. Speaking of plot, it's about as generic, boring, and bare bones as you could possibly get. Hawkeye, after doing all that cool shit as Ronin, has left his Ronin life behind because it would make him too cool. He's hanging out with his family and he's abandoned his Ronin suit and Ronin sword and whatever the hell else he was using. And it ends up on a black market auction, which gets raided by a gang who wants to kill Ronin. Kate puts on the suit for some reason and decides to beat up the guys trying to rob the black market auction and gets mistaken for the real Ronin. And she defeats them by using her power to defy the laws of physics, which she does a lot in this show.
That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all.
It turns out that the people trying to track down Ronin are the tracksuit mafia, who say bro a lot and listen to Imagine Dragons, which is stupid. They aren't funny. In fact, they're very annoying, and it'll get obnoxious really quickly. So Kay does some Max Caulfield breaking and entering and finds out that somebody's been murdered by the tracksuit mafia. And it was also a person who was at that black market auction. What are the odds? But the mafia finds her, and then Hawkeye finds her, and then fight, and eventually they team up. Just to be clear, we're now 2 episodes in, and Hawkeye has not shot his bow outside of that one flashback scene. And he will continue to not shoot a bow until episode 3, which is about halfway through the goddamn show. And just to be clear, if I'm making this sound in any way interesting, it's not. It is so boring. Even the fight scenes are boring. Anyway, Kate is now investigating her soon-to-be stepfather, Jack, who is also at the black market auction and is super suspicious and very clearly a red herring. He literally has a villain mustache. The only way they could have taken it further is if he had a cat to pet in every scene. And Hawkeye is slowly realizing that he's not going to make it back in time for his Christmas sweater party. I would cry if I cared. But he's got work to do, because the tracksuit mafia decided to burn down Kate Bishop's house, and then eventually they lose the Ronin suit in the fire. But surprise, surprise, somebody stole it. Who stole it? LARPers. Yes, LARPers. And thus began the most unnecessary, far too long, and downright dumbest bit this show will ever do. The LARPer group. For some inexplicable reason that's out of calculation for human minds, the writers decided to have several extended LARPer scenes and make the LARPers sort of pseudo-side characters? What the hell were they smoking in that writing room to go, you know what people want to see? Hawkeye LARPing. We need an extended bit of him LARPing and him teaming up with LARPers, guys. Everybody wants this in the show. You see, this is what I mean when I say this show is arrogant and doesn't understand what people want. Who the hell asked for this? Name one person who asked for this shit. We could show Hawkeye, being a vigilante, going down a dark path, doing something interesting, but instead we're watching him LARP while a fat guy makes clinging sound effects every time someone strikes swords. See, this is the kind of stupid shit that only drugs can birth. That's gotta be the explanation. So anyway, Hawkeye gets the suit back and makes friends with the LARPer group. And afterwards, he decides to get himself kidnapped, and then Kate finds out he's been kidnapped, and then gets herself kidnapped too. Dynamic duo of dipshits. And this is when we get introduced to our main antagonist, the intimidating, the all-powerful, disabled woman? So our main antagonist here is Echo. If you don't know who that is, I don't either. Which is funny, considering she got her own entire show. Yes, that's right, she got her own entire show. I have no goddamn idea who this is. Most of you have no goddamn idea who this is, and yet they're giving them their own TV show, and they're so lame. No, I didn't mean lame in that way. That's not what I meant. Don't take that out of context. But it's not just me saying that. This is an actual quote from the director of the Echo show. Her power in the comic books is that she can copy anything, any movement, any whatever. It's kind of lame. That's an actual quote. They're calling the superhero they're adapting lame. They thought her superpowers sucked so much that they had to change them. You know it's bad when the writers are calling the character they're adapting lame, and they somehow probably made an even lamer version of the character. I don't read comic books, so I don't know if Echo is actually the coolest person in the universe. All I do know is that I've never heard of them before now. And I haven't seen the Echo show either, but to be honest, how many of you have actually seen the Echo show? How many of you even knew there was an Echo show? What's Echo's deal anyway? Well, she's both deaf and also has a prosthetic leg, really stacking up those disabilities there. Listen, I'm all for empowerment and representation and whatnot, but there comes a time where it starts to become a little comedic. Like, is the next major MCU villain going to be a blind, deaf, anosmic quadriplegic with a wasting disease? At least it hasn't gotten to Titans levels yet, where they're having full extended wheelchair fight scenes. There's a big gap between providing representation for people and allowing us to understand them better, or communicating their daily struggles through art, and making them all insane super soldier ninjas. So according to Marvel's logic, if you see someone with a prosthetic leg or someone who's blind, they're probably a Black Ops agent with over 35 confirmed kills and a mastery over every single martial art. Regardless, Ronin killed Echo's dad, which made her really sad, which caused her to get mad, so she decided to be bad. Her partner in crime is also so boring and forgettable that I not only forgot his name, but also I can't think of any personality traits he has other than being boring. So basically this plot boils down to Hawkeye murdering a disabled person's father and then beating the shit out of them. Really, really progressive, Marvel. Good job. Predictably, Hawkeye escapes and gets his bow back so he can finally shoot arrows halfway through this goddamn Hawkeye show. So they break out and steal a car, but avoid stealing the fastest car there because Hawkeye doesn't want to smash it. Which is such a funny bit because, as we all know, not smashing a car is more important than saving your lives. So they're driving away and Kate does a cool bow car chase scene where she's shooting trick arrows at the bad guys. And then she blows one of them up. So she just murders that guy. Now, okay, this scene made me stop for a bit and actually think about what I was watching here. So Kate just has their first kill, their first body, they've murdered someone. And their reaction to this is nothing. They don't say anything, they don't mention it again. Kate just kills somebody, and it's never brought up, like it didn't even happen. And I was so confused. So one of the themes of this story that it's seeming to get across, is that murdering all the bad guys probably isn't a good idea. Hawkeye went down a dark path, he killed a bunch of people, and killed Echo's father, which caused her to go and take revenge. Hawkeye also gives the story about Natasha, where he refused to kill her, and she later became a hero who saved the world. So the idea is, maybe killing all the villains isn't such a good thing. So when Kate murders somebody, Hawkeye should have something to say about that, right? No? Seriously, you think Hawkeye would say something like, oh, we can't just kill everyone, or heroes don't do that, or... No, none of that. Kate just kills people. And in fact, I'm pretty sure they kill more people throughout the show. Now, they don't establish that Kate has a no-kill rule, so I can't really fault them for that, but still, it's really weird, right? She doesn't have any reaction to catching a body. Again, she's 22 years old, she's very hyperactive, she seems to be emotional at some points when the plot lets her, so why does she have no reaction at all to killing someone for the first time? What this does is make her feel kind of like a psychopath who drops Marvel quips after committing murders. Again, this makes her feel like less of a real person because she doesn't have an earnest reaction to taking a life. It's not even a matter of whether or not it was right or wrong, it's a matter of having a reaction to it, like in any way, shape, or form. But she just goes on to make family-friendly Marvel quips and doesn't address it at all, which is just strange. It makes her seem like a psychopath. Now, I would be more mad at this if it was like Titans, where they were constantly morally grandstanding and talking about how they don't kill people while murdering people. But still, this just came across as strange to me. But enough of that, because Hawkeye makes a giant Pym particle arrow and nearly destroys the entire bridge. Because that was necessary. But anyway, they escape, and there was some extended bit here about Hawkeye not hearing things because he had a hearing aid that broke or whatever. I don't care. So they start investigating Jackmore, have an awkward family dinner, do a Christmas sweater party, and go talk to the LARPers again. Ugh. It's so boring. Please stop. All of Hawkeye's trick arrows are in NYPD lockup, I guess, and they get a cop to get all the arrows out. It's just... Anyway, they find a building where they think Echo is hiding out, so they go there, and Hawkeye comes up with a plan to break in, but Kate does some super stealth teleportation and teleports down the building without him hearing or seeing her. Did she use her grapple hook arrow without making any noise? She gets into the building, but triggers a silent alarm, which causes Echo to show up and try and beat her up. But while this is happening, another mysterious figure appears and starts attacking Hawkeye as well. Who is this mysterious figure? Well, they're a Black Widow assassin, of course. They fight for a bit, but everybody gets away, and then Hawkeye tells Kate that they're breaking up and they're no longer partners anymore. I'm sure this will last more than 15 minutes.
And alas, we're at our third act, misunderstanding. But why? 3 seconds ago we were fine, and now I gotta argue with you, so we can separate for one scene.
So who is this mysterious Black Widow assassin? Well, it's actually Natasha's sister. Now, I haven't watched the Black Widow movie, and I can't think of many people who have, so I have no idea who this character is. And I don't know anything about Black Widows, but the writers are assuming that you've watched every single MCU property, and there's that arrogance again, assuming that people have watched the fucking Black Widow movie. They seem to think it's still 2012 and people are keeping up with all this shit, but it's not like that anymore. Most of these movies suck, less and less people are watching them, and there's so many of them now that it's impossible to keep up with them all. You're basically expected to do homework before you can watch any of these shows or movies, which, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't seem to be worth it. So Yelena, Yamama, who cares? She got blipped for multiple years after the snap, and when she came back, Natasha was dead. And she's decided to blame it all on Hawkeye for some stupid-ass reason and wants to kill him. So Yelena tracks down Kate, and she makes macaroni, and they quip, and banter, and quip, and... sorry. Their conversation essentially boils down to, I have your IP address, bitch, Lamau, goodbye. There you go, I just saved you some time. Clint, wanting to get all this stupid shit over with, decides to call Echo out for a duel. He puts on his costume, takes out all the guards, beats up a disabled woman, and then reveals himself. Kate shows up at the worst possible moment, and both of them escape, and Echo still hasn't given up her quest for revenge. Also, they escape in an Uber, meaning Kate called an Uber to a gang war, really taking in the safety of the civilians into account, superhero. But after they leave, they find out something very interesting. You see, it wasn't actually Jack who was doing all the evil stuff, because obviously, it was actually Kate's mom. Dun dun dun! And not only that, she's been secretly working with Kingpin. Okay, just to be clear, this was back before the Netflix Daredevil stuff was confirmed to be still canon, which, actually, I haven't seen the new Daredevil show, so I'm not entirely sure on that whole thing. I've been meaning to get to it, but whatever. The point is, they were taking a villain who was actually good in that Daredevil show and sticking them in at the very last moment in this Hawkeye show as a way to garner more engagement. Because the actual villains here are so lame, boring, and disinteresting that they needed someone who was actually worthwhile being the bad guy. And he's only in the final episode, which means that we don't get much time with Kingpin, so he just kind of gets thrown in there and is like, hey, I'm Kingpin, remember me from the show that was good? Bet you wish you were watching that right now. This city. Anyway, Kate and Hawkeye decide to form a plan to take down her mom and also the Kingpin. They have a cool trick arrow making montage, and then Kate gives Hawkeye an inspirational speech about why he's an awesome superhero. Their reasoning for why Hawkeye is so amazing is that he is so lame that he acts as an inspiration to other lame people, because if he can be a superhero, literally anyone can do it. Think about that for a second. His main inspiring quality is that he sucks so much. In the face of gods, Hulks, people with super suits, he's a dude with a bow and arrow, and that's so dumb and weak and stupid that anybody can be a hero. This is a side note because it's not really something wrong with the show, it's just a personal opinion of mine, but I think this whole everyone can be a superhero rhetoric that keeps getting shoved into superhero stories is just fucking stupid. Oh yeah, you can be a superhero so long as you have rich parents, a black belt in every single martial art, a mastery of archery at the age of 5, and tons of other advantages that are just dumped on top of you. You know, the average person. If it weren't for the fact that every gangster here has to have the worst aim imaginable, these two would be dead right now. They aren't superheroes because anyone can do it. They're superheroes because they have excessive plot armor. A normal person with no superpowers who walks into like 50 gangsters all equipped with guns is going to get shot and die. This kind of bullshit only works if the author decides to make every single bullet miss around you because you have a plot force field protecting you from lead. Now, if they were coming at it from the angle that you can still save the day without having to, fight a bunch of gangsters one-on-one, then fine, I'll accept that. But most of the time, it's just random kids with a couple days of martial arts training suddenly fighting super ninjas and battling with gods, and it's so over the top and stupid that you can't take it seriously. No, not everyone can be a superhero, and that's okay. You don't need to shoot lasers out of your hands or fight mafia bosses to matter. I know this might be crazy for you to accept, but you don't have to be literally Jesus to be worthwhile. So anyway, they decide to turn the LARPers into a Black Ops squad and convince them to break into a building. And all of Kingpin's men attack the building at the same time, and then the Black Widow assassin is also there and wants to kill Hawkeye, and everything's going wrong. Kate and Yelena have like a slap fight, and they start doing goofy stuff in the elevator and have quips, and can we please just get these characters to shut up for like 5 minutes? I'm begging you. Hawkeye ends up falling and getting stuck in a tree, Yes, this master assassin who has fought with literal gods and aliens and can jump off buildings is stuck on a tree and can't climb down.
How am I supposed to get down from here?
Climb down!
I can't even get any food or water. What should I do?
I said climb down!
If only a real superhero were here to save him from this tree. But there's no need to worry. Kate has a plan of completely destroying the entire tree and letting it fall, which is stupid, but luckily Hawkeye is immune to fall damage. So then out of absolutely nowhere, an entire militia of goons appear, literally hundreds of them. Seriously, I'm pretty sure some armies have less members than this mafia group. You would think holding a full-scale war in the middle of the city would be, bad for your operation, Kingpin, but you do you. Speaking of Kingpin, Echo's found out that Kingpin actually double-crossed her, so she's now turned against Kingpin and kills that other guy who's so boring I basically forgot him. Actually, you know what? This guy looks kind of familiar. I wonder if I just... Oh my god. Anyway, with Luigi dead, Kingpin is the only one left. Oh, and Yelena too, but they make up or whatever, who cares? So Kingpin in this actually has super strength as he rips a car door just straight off and starts smashing through walls and shit. So he's clearly taken some kind of super soldier serum or PCP or something. And I swear if I hear anybody say, oh, he's a peak human, that's why he can do this stuff, I will rip out your car door and peak human it through your face. Kate fights him and eventually activates every single trick arrow in her arsenal at once right on top of him so he explodes. You would think activating all these trick arrows, which can, destroy cars, would kill somebody, but apparently they just knock him out for a bit. She might as well have detonated a bunch of fireworks on top of him. Kate's mom gets arrested, Kingpin escapes, but Echo finds him and shoots him off screen, which means he's definitely still alive. So yes, Echo sucked so badly she somehow missed a fatal shot from, point-blank range. So she's both a super epic awesome ninja who can fight off literally anybody and do almost anything, and also someone who misses point-blank shots. Really consistent skill level we're portraying here. Unless she decided not to kill Kingpin for some stupid-ass reason, which that would be even dumber. Or maybe Kingpin is just immune to bullets because he has a peak human adamantium skeleton. I half expect him to use his peak human leap to jump up the side of a building and then smash it or something. So with that, all the bad guys are taken down, except for Kingpin, who's going to be running for mayor, which, okay. And Hawkeye and Kate make it back for Christmas and get to have their Christmas party. Hooray! So, Hawkeye. That was fucking boring. All the interesting bits are also really stupid if you start to think about them. And the non-interesting bits, boy, I wanted to fall asleep. Hawkeye doesn't get top billing in his own show, and he's so lame that a tree can defeat him. Kate takes his place as the main character, and she's basically a non-person, who exists entirely to deliver annoying Marvel quips and to just be obnoxious throughout the entire show. On top of that, she's already basically a god at everything, and the story has to force her to find things to struggle with, like flicking coins, which is... what? And the story goes completely off the rails at some point to shove in stupid shit like LARPer groups for absolutely no reason. It's a show that literally nobody wanted to see, because who asked for this? The people writing this clearly have no goddamn idea what people watching the MCU actually want. We don't want to see cool superhero stuff or anything Hawkeye did as Ronin. No, we want to see Hawkeye LARPing. And then also shoving in Black Widow plot lines just in the middle of the show, expecting you to have seen that movie and know what the hell is going on. Overall, I don't know who to recommend this show to. It's not for fans of Hawkeye because he's not the main character of his own show and spends most of it sucking. It's not for fans of Kate Bishop because there's maybe a handful of them at most. So I guess this is for Black Widow fans? The Hawkeye show. Only watch it if you like Black Widow. Overall, this show is emblematic of everything the MCU got wrong at this time. Overconfidence that people want to see the garbage they're putting out, a lack of understanding of what people actually want, and just doing the dumbest shit for no reason. I swear, this whole company just needs one no guy. A guy who says no to things. That one guy could save this company hundreds of millions of dollars. Hey, we should make an Echo show. No. 40 million saved. Hey, we should make a movie about the Marvels. No. 270 million saved. But alas, such a person does not seem to exist. So I will have to end this video by thanking my Patreon supporters. If you want to get early access to videos, go check out the Patreon. But with all that being said, this has been Dave, and remember,
If only I had some sticks or reeds lying around. I could make a makeshift ladder or a rope.